Do you ever feel like you failed? Are you in that place in your life where you think that you're starting again? You've tried everything, you've tried to work things out, you've done everything that you think you can do, but it doesn't seem to work, and you just have to start all over again. I have a message for you. So the Bible says in Isaiah 43, verse 18 to 19, forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the desert and streams in the wasteland. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode here at Living Waters, the Believers Community. In here we talk about relatable stories that affect our life, about our faith, productivity, share resources and tools to help you produce fruits as believers. I'm your host for the show, Blessing Busman. You can call me the multifaceted strategist. I'm a growth and product marketing manager, and I'm also a writer. I feel like I do too many things, but I've gotten to embrace that part of me that does so many things. So before we go right into the episode, have you subscribed to this channel? If you've not, this is a fine time to subscribe. So subscribe, like, and share to someone that you think will find this valuable. So let's get right into it. Today we're going to be talking about starting afresh. So this is one thing I'm very passionate about. Would I use the word passionate? But this is a topic that is dear to my heart because I've seen myself start afresh so many times. Like, I've watched my life grow from a place where I am consistently starting afresh. So I'm going to give you a background story. In 2018, I made a decision to forget the former things. It was more of the year where I decided to stop all the youthful exuberance. It was more of the year I didn't give my life to Christ then. It was more of just changing from the bad habits and adopting a new one. So whatever bad thing that you can think of that you think today's youth are doing, I did it. Yes, I did it all. So all of the youthful exuberance, I did it all. And in 2018, I decided that, you know what, I'm tired of this life. I want something else. I just didn't want to continue. And I started again. I started afresh. And then fast forward to the end of the year, I stayed at home for like 1 year after my uni days. I didn't do nothing. I was just at home eating, getting fat and all of that. And in 2019, I was tired again and I decided to start afresh. That was the year that I would really say I found Christ, because I grew up from a Christian home. I grew up from a home where we used to go to church and all of those things. But we didn't really understand doctrine. We didn't really understand what it meant to be saved. Yes, I went to church. I went to a good church. So I even had to leave my family's church so I could find my own church where I am being trained. And I wasn't a cell leader in the church that I was going to, but I was very young. But when I went to school, all of those things that I learned, just like they wiped it off my memory, and I was just in that place where I was doing the things of the word and the things that I wanted to do. So in 2019, I was like, you know what? I want to give my life to Christ. I want to really know God. I was tired of where I was. I used to have this boyfriend that would take care of me, buy me whatever I want, just, give me whatever I want. I didn't really have to do much. Everything was just coming to me. But in 2019, I got a job. I would say that was like my first maybe real job, because I worked for like 3 months as a school teacher and I was being paid 14,000 naira. I didn't mind. Like, it wasn't from a place of making money for me. It was more from a place of, how can I leave where I was and start a new path? How can I stop relying on someone, stop giving my entire life to someone, and actually starting a new journey? So I was willing to do whatever it takes. And then I started going to church. I started finding Christ. And same 2019, I started my career in marketing. I didn't study marketing. I studied English in school. But in 2019, I grew interest in marketing because I saw a lot of things that I could actually do. Being a writer, I started blogging, built my first website, then started learning digital marketing online, found someone who devoted his time to teaching me marketing. 2020, I started my business. 2019, I was confused. I didn't know what I was doing with my life. I just started a career in marketing, started learning marketing. 2020, I started my business. That was when I got my first client who paid me 5,000 naira to write on his blog. That was a new beginning for me too. Down to the year, I got a social media management client, got another one, and it was like, I never had imagined it, right? I didn't know I would even do marketing, but it was all new to me. It was me coming into a new place. And one of the things I have learned about new beginnings is that it is a place for knowledge, it's a place for growth. There are new ideas that are going to come to you. There are new things that you never would have thought of doing that would come to you. Why? Because you are accepting that this is a fresh start. It's a blank slate for me to write on again. Fast forward to 2021. 2021 was the year I branched into the international market. I was serving the Nigeria audience in 2020, but in 2021 I prayed and I was like, God, I want to really go into the international market. I want to start earning in dollars with my skill. And I got my first 2 clients and they were paying me about $250, $200. That was huge for me because in a month I could make like 200 to 300K. It was really good for me. And then I got a job. I got a job where it was performance-based marketing that I was doing there. And coupled with the freelancing and my job, in a month I could go home with like 400 to 500, sometimes 300, depending on my ability to perform. That was a new beginning for me again. Then 4 months down the line, I quit my job. I dropped my clients during my work there because I couldn't handle both my freelancing clients and my job, so I dropped my clients. And in April, I quit my job. I didn't have money. I was broke. Like, I was literally broke, but I knew I had to quit my job. I knew I had to leave that place where I was. At that point, there was fear. At that point, I didn't know what to do next. I knew that what to do next was basically returning back to the freelancing journey. But I wasn't so sure of where the next clients would come from. Everything was faith, hope. Everything was me relying on God. I told myself that, see, I will find wells, I will find rivers of living water wherever I go, whatever I do. That was my resolution. See, I can't really say everything on this show, but I will tell you that I didn't know where that client came from, but it can only be God. And that's why we just have to trust God in our journey. I trusted God in my journey. And what that happened is that God brought someone. The client I had worked with in January referred me to another client. I didn't even know why did that referral come at that time? It wasn't my thinking, it was God orchestrating everything. New beginning for me again, that's remaining part of the month. Now down to 2022. I felt like 2022 was going to be the year where I would eat it mega in my business because from September to December 2021, I really had like a very big hit in my business, and I felt like I knew the patterns, I knew the principles, I knew how to get it. So I had mapped out how I was going to make, I don't want to call the amounts on this channel because I love you, are going to laugh at me. Okay, actually mapped out how I was going to make $250,000 in my business. See, it's not ridiculous, trust me. Right now, it's in my mind. I have settled it in my mind. That money is small money. If you have a service where you are selling for $5,000 or you're selling for $2,000, you just need to times it by the number of the clients you want to sell to and you can make it. My mind is open to receiving it. But one thing I learned is that there are processes to life. You cannot just jump the gun. And that is why there is always a new beginning. New beginnings are meant to align you back to the process, and that was what happened to me in 2021. It aligned me back to the process. If I had made that money, probably I would not be serving God again. I would have been so proud. Well, you have money, you can buy a car, you can travel, nobody will tell me what to do. Like, You cannot tell me what to do. I will not sit down in one place. I'll be everywhere. But God had his own plans. And I had a very bad client experience in 2021. The year that I thought I was going to make so much money was the year I was so broke. I was so broke. From the middle of the year, from the 6th month or the 5th month, I was so broke. I can't even tell you how broke I was. I was so broke to the extent that I didn't even have money to eat or to transport. I didn't even have it. Why? I was relying on my own self. 2021 was the year that I learned to trust God even more. Like, I saw God show up for me like never before. This episode is not on trusting God, but you can see that as I'm talking about starting afresh, you are also seeing the part where you have to trust God. If you are starting afresh, if you are in that place where you feel like, this is a new beginning for me, this is a new path for me, in this your journey, you just have to trust God. That's all I can say. In this your journey right now, you just have to trust God. One of the reasons why a lot of people are scared of starting afresh is the fact that they're thinking about what people will say, and they're also thinking about the time, the energy that they have spent doing that thing. If we are honest with ourselves, if you tell yourself the truth, you actually see that some of the times that you had to start afresh, some of the times that you were spending so much energy on something and it didn't work out, is because you lacked the knowledge for that place. You lacked the knowledge for that growth. You were not knowledgeable for the place that you were. Because if you had the knowledge and you had applied it, you would have probably gotten the results that you wanted to get. Let's say you had a failed business. Let's say you had a failed marriage. Let's say you had a failed relationship. Because you didn't know how to handle it. I've had failed relationships, and from when I look back at my failed relationships, I tell myself, blessing, you were not wise. You didn't handle this thing rightly. You didn't handle it rightly. So if we tell ourselves the truth, all the times, now you're probably saying, oh, I've spent so much energy, I've spent resources, I've given myself, I've done this. Tell yourself the truth. You were the problem. I was the problem. You were the problem, and you are the problem. So if you're going to start afresh, you need to, number one, tell yourself the truth and then move on. Move on and gain the knowledge for the next phase. And then some of you are in that place where you're scared of what people will say. You're so much concerned about what people think about you that you think starting afresh is them going to judge you, them going to criticize you, them going to start talking about you. I bet you people don't even care. People will be happy to even see you start again. Sometimes we think that people hate us so much. It's us that is other enemies in our heart, but people actually don't really care about you. For someone like me, I always say this, I'll not send you. If you talk about me and you think that, oh, you're seeing blessings starting again, and then you're talking about me, I'll not send you. Curtis says it's better.
To be very honest, I no send your daddy.
I'll not send your daddy. It is simple. So stop being in that place where, oh, what will people say about me? What if I'm not getting it right? I'm trying to put myself out there. What will people... People do not care. Starting afresh is good. Starting afresh is a learning curve. Starting afresh is aligning you back to the process. It's telling you to trust in God. It's telling you to there is a knowledge for that new phase in your life. So do not be afraid to start afresh. Do not be afraid to tear the sheets that you've written on and rewrite on it again. And it doesn't matter the age that you are in. Whether you're 20, whether you're 30, whether you're 40, you're 50, and God is laying it in your heart to do something. If it's to start a YouTube channel, if it's to write that book, if it's to put that content out there, God is laying it in your heart to do it, and you're thinking about someone else, stop it and start again. Starting afresh is good. So my friends, it's time for you to start again. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Do well to like, tell me what resonated with you, subscribe to the channel, and share it to someone that you think will find this helpful. Until we meet again, bye for now.